Hey everybody! I know it's been a while since I've done something like this, and I'm sure you're all wondering exactly why I'm not making videos as often, or pretty much at all. With the most recent video being the Take On Me stuff, I do apologize if I'm not constantly looking at the camera. I do have a few screens open, including Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and my own beautiful face to make sure I'm not doing anything stupid. I really should have closed that closet in the background, but it's kind of too late for that. So, I'm sure that you're wondering when the next maritime shenanigans is. That might be a bit of a problem. See, I'm I'm afraid that I may have broken some broken some relationships at this point. I All right. So I know I've said this on detail before in other previous update videos, but I'm going to talk a little bit in more detail about it, and especially talk about symptoms of what I have. See, back in 2011 or 2012, I can't remember exactly, I had an emotional breakdown because of a relationship with someone who I admit was rather abusive. And not not verbally abusive, more like emotionally abusive, using my emotions, how I cared for her, to take advantage of me and force me to do things that I may not necessarily have liked or wanted to do in the first place. So, after the emotional breakdown and losing contact with her, I was sent to a psychologist, well, more psychiatrist, to get medication for depression. As I spoke with him, he noticed that there were certain characteristics that led to a diagnosis as after he sent me to a psychologist. Back then, I was diagnosed with a syndrome known as Aspergers. Today, now, it is part of the diagnosis autism spectrum disorder. The basically Asperger's was seen as a high functioning end of the spectrum. And I'm reading this off of Autism Speaks right now. Children and adults have difficulty with social interactions and exhibit a restricted range of interests and or repetitive behaviors. Motor development may be delayed, leading to clumsiness or uncoordinated motor movements compared with those affected by other forms of ASD. However, those with Asperger's syndrome do not have significant delays or difficulties in language or cognitive development. Some even demonstrate precocious vocabulary, often in a highly specialized field of interest. This is probably some of the earliest form or earliest symptoms were developed in me. I sucked at writing. I still think that my handwriting is complete chicken scratch. I tripped over myself so often. I got hurt a lot because of how clumsy I was. However, I loved reading. I learned so many words that I use nowadays that even my mom, who I have normal conversations with, she'll occasionally stop and laugh a little bit because she's like, I've never heard anyone else use that word before. So basically, and to go with other bits of Asperger's, it is also a social disability. I'm going to list off the symptoms that most people can notice nowadays, but especially in social behaviors, some people who have Asperger's syndrome tend to have limited, inappropriate social interactions, robotic being in quotations there, or repetitive speech, challenges with nonverbal communication, coupled with average to above average verbal skills, me, tendency to discuss self rather than others. That was me a lot as a kid, but I like to think that I like to listen more than really talk. Um, Inability to understand social or emotional issues or non-literal phrases. That was true to me too. Lack of eye contact or reciprocal conversation. Obsession with specific, often unusual topics, one-sided conversations, awkward movements, and or mannerisms. This was stuff that I learned at a very young age that most of the people around me didn't understand, even before I knew about having Asperger's. So, whenever I was to be involved in a conversation, I would let myself be quiet and let the others talk, because I thought if I spoke up, it would not end well. And also there was another part where I felt that people around me didn't like me. No one really, no one really seemed to. Now that I think about it now, they seemed to be indifferent about me. But I thought that no one enjoyed my company. I thought no one enjoyed hanging around me. So I tended to just keep to myself. Fast forward to today, I know different ways to cope with my Aspergers now, and but the thing is, sometimes I slip up when I get frustrated or upset, or I'm just annoyed, or I'm just in a bad mood for the day. And unfortunately, this has happened with a couple of my friends. I'm not going to go into detail, but I'm just going to say that I I put forward some behaviors that weren't exactly ideal, and I cut off contact with them for a little while anyway. I was just in a really bad mood that day, and uh, I'm also dealing with depression again. You know, it's something that I'm going to have to deal with all my life. It pops up every now and then. I just have to learn to cope with it, and I, for the most part, am better than I was back then. However, I haven't really talked to them since then, and I'm honestly afraid that they no longer want to be a part of the group that I was making for Maritime Shenanigans. I still have Brad. I I still have Yari. I know that they are both interested in still recording with me, or at least Brad is for sure. Yari might want to join in but not want to talk, and I'm completely okay with that because everyone has different comfort levels when it comes to recording videos now, and I feel bad that I kind of made her talk before. So, Yari, if you're watching, I deeply apologize for that, and if you ever want to join me in a video again, you don't have to talk. I would be more than happy to check the chat every now and then just to see what you're typing. Um, then, however, for three others, I'm not going to name them. I'm a little concerned about whether or not we'll actually record together again. So, as much as I wish that this wasn't the case, I may have screwed the pooch there, and I have a feeling that they don't want to be in videos with me anymore. So, Maritime Shenanigans may either be reduced to 3 people or might just not happen again. And to be honest, I've been getting rather salty with Splatoon 2 as well. So I've been taking breaks from it just to keep from getting too angry because I'm not an enjoyable person to be around when I'm upset. So there's that. But in the meantime, I'm still working on getting myself into a better place. I'm still working on trying to patch up relationships. I'm being patient. I'm trying to not overstep any boundaries or anything. And I just want to get along with people again. So, if my friends who I have upset are watching this, I am truly sorry. And I hope that you can forgive me because I just was not in a good spot. And I hope that if you ever want to be a part of the video again, I would be more than happy to let you join me. In fact, I wouldn't be able to do Maritime Shenanigans without you guys. So, to conclude this video, I just wanted to explain a little bit about what's been going on and why things have been going a little slow. So I hope that this helps you understand a little bit more about what goes on through my head and what's been going on lately. So hopefully this will all get figured out, and I really hope that you guys will be looking forward to the next video I post, whatever it turns out to be. So until next time, everybody, this has been Tim the Vocalist, and I will see you next time.